Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Mary and we are playing with the November Hero Arts My Monthly Hero Kit. So I made 11 cards. Yes, I did. There's the bonus. I made 11 cards today and here are the kit contents. Not much came in the kit because they gave us 2 stamp sets. So a background stamp that I'm about to use and then one with a whole bunch of little images. Also the die that's going to die cut this background stamp into an advent calendar, and 2 embossing powders. So we're going to get started sort of making 2 cards, the first 2 cards together, but they are going to be different. So same but different. I am going to get this all inked up with some Versamark ink, and then I am going to place down some Bristol Smooth cardstock. And this stamp set here is a bunch of ornaments. It's very pretty. The background is very cool. And what's neat is 3 of those ornaments pop out. And you actually could stamp them, use them as regular stamps, which I think is super clever. I almost wish more of them popped out. All right, so I am going to pour some of that gold embossing powder that came with the kit all over this stamped image and put that aside. And then I'm actually going to, what I did with this one was stamped it in Versamark and then put white embossing. So I'm going to do a heat embossing resist technique. So I am now using 3 different reds. These are the 3 reds I'm using for distressed oxides, and I'm getting a gradient ombre look. I absolutely love the way that those reds go together, and I love the boldness of this card. I think this is a very elegant, very bold, bright color, really pretty. All right, so I spray that down, get a little bit of that distress reaction happening, and then I'm going to heat set it. Here are my 2 cards. I always usually cut down my panels with the second to the largest Lawn Fawn rectangle stitch dies. And then I'm going to just make some sentiments with some vellum. I saved some time here by not showing you, but I heat set those. I have red glitter embossing and then the green that came with the kit. Putting the adhesive right behind some of those images. So I used some of these snowflakes from the set to stamp out on top of there. This is just, the sentiments in this set are very tiny. So last month's kit for Hero Arts, it's really good if you got both. You can combine those 2 and use a lot of the sentiments from last month. I think that's helpful. And to be honest, I think I kept pure to maybe 5 of these cards, meaning I used just the kit for them. And then I had to pull out some other for like the last 6, just for fun and to get my creative juices flowing some more. So for this card, these backgrounds, still on these first 2, I am going to use green cardstock for this background to kind of match the green embossing powder from the sentiment on the front. And then the other one is going to be backed on gold. So just kind of matching my cards. Using some strong score tape, I'm going to place that down onto its panel. And then all of my cards, just to save time and let you know now, they're all going to be on Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock, which, side note, I had to restock today. I had to buy it at Amazon, and it's coming my way. But I do have to say, it comes with 250 sheets, so that's 500 cards, and I haven't bought any of that in a year. So I'm not fully out, but I promise I've made more than 500 cards this year. At least it feels that way. I will tell you the truth. Okay, so in a good way. I love this. I can make a million cards. So right here, I am showing you some close-ups of those finished cards, starting off with a little bit of elegance today. So we are going to continue to use this stamp set, but I'm going to make a background here with these 3 oxide colors, and I'm going to get these blues all mixed up. It's funny because you think blue is blue is blue. But when you start to put these blues together, you start to notice a little bit of undertones because obviously blue is not blue is not blue. There's different undertones and different mixtures of colors that you put in. Some purples you might see pop out. So I love the mix that I get from these colors. Very bold, very pretty. I don't know that I've ever made a Distress Oxide panel and been disappointed. Seriously, like I'm going back through my emotional memory bank and I can't think of a time. No, they just are awesome all the time. And then I'm going to use some silver embossing powder to do the same thing I did on the last ones. So I get that all heat set. And then I'm taking the die and I'm lining it up best I can. Pretty easy to line up, to be honest, because they leave the circles and the holes in there so you can see what you're doing. And then I am going to realize at this point that, oh, it makes the advent calendar for you. Because prior to this, I saw this online and I was like, how does it keep the window or the little flip-ups in there? Duh, it does it for you. Okay, so then I am going to line up. You can either use your card that you cut or this, the actual die. And I'm going to line it up on a piece of white paper cardstock. And then I'm going to stamp out all my numbers. So I don't show you every single number because I'm pretty sure you get the gist. One thing I will tell you about in the making of this card. Please, I am warning you not to do it the way that I did it. Learn from my mistakes. See, this is why I rush and get this video up for you guys. So I can make all the mistakes and you can do it right. So on this, I thought it would be a good idea. Obviously, physics was not my strongest subject. I thought it was a good idea to pop up this front panel because, you know, you have your window and then you have dimension and it would be really cool to kind of see the windows pop. As soon as I did it, like right there when my hands went down, I was like, oh goodness, how am I going to get these windows open? You can't. When you start pushing them in, they go into their little hole. So I was like, okay, genius idea. Let's put some pearl pens, dots on the front. This will give me a little bit of texture to pop that bad boy open. No, it's just not working. So I would recommend doing it flat unless you have another idea and then I could fix my card. But okay, so we're moving on to the next card. Next one is going to be using some of those cute little stamps in the set. And at first I was just going to do one line across, almost like a clothing line, drying line, you know, when you back in the day when you used to hang out your clothes. But then I thought, boy, let me just do more. So I started doing a few different lines. And what's fun about this is you can see I'm using my foam tape here for my circle. But what's fun about this is it doesn't have to be perfect. Although you see me erase and kind of redo it a couple times, as I'm doing it, I'm realizing this is so super fun. And in fact, I would do it kind of at angles, almost like tree garland hangs, kind of like crisscross. That would be fun too. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It could just be fun and whimsical. And that's really where I kind of realized, yeah, I like this card because this is just, I get to see all the images, I get to make it colorful, and I get to stamp. And I kind of appreciate this month's kit for not having to color. So it gave me a chance to kind of just pick solid colors of ink and just stamp them out. The downside to that is I realized how much I want some more VersaFine Clair and some Catherine Puller inks. Like I didn't already have this desire in my heart. This stamp set made me realize, and actually kind of justify it in my head too. Yeah, I do need those. Okay, so I'm taking a scrapbook.com silver marker here, and I am just redrawing those lines over the pencils. And then I left a little space right up here at the top for my sentiment, Be Merry, and I do believe I cut that down as well. I'm placing this with some fun foam on the back onto a red panel first, and then I'm going to pull out some Lawn Fawn Rainbow Christmas paper pack. You see this popping up all over my cards this holiday season. And I'm on a mission to use pattern paper as much as possible because I think it's awesome and I hoard it like a nutsy cuckoo person. So I am going to place this on my base and that card is finished. So I got to use my Catherine Puller inks. I got to use see all those cute little images. They're adorable. They would be good for like little snow globes too. Okay, so we are moving on to the next card here. I took another piece of that pattern paper from the Lawn Fawn set, and I am going to stamp this out with some of the reindeer. There was a reindeer that came in the kit and a Santa. And so I'm going to do some multiple stampings of this reindeer, almost to look like they're all filed in line, ready to go on the sled, even though it's only their heads. So we're definitely being whimsical on this one. And then Santa's going to be leading the pack. And as you'll notice, there's one reindeer at the front leading the pack. And of course, that is our red-nosed reindeer, Rudolph. And so I do want to add a little bit more shading to the outside of this pattern paper, although it's super pretty the way it is, just to kind of give me a gradient kind of look. There's my arm in the way. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to add some paper on the bottom that I had. I'm grabbing a lot of like scraps that I'm keeping around because I waste way too much. And so I'm trying not to do that. So I grabbed some of that. I had a hillside already cut out. That's with the Lawn Fawn Hillside border die. And then I'm just putting some snowflakes all over. Now here my filming went off. So I'm showing you what I did. I put Nuvo glimmer paste on the bottom and then the red dot Nuvo glue for his nose, the black for the other ones, and then some glaze. And I forgot Rudolph's eyes. Did you see that? Right there. Look at Rudolph. He's looking a little scary right there. I got to put some Nuvo or some Jelly Roll glaze there. All right, so we're moving on to the next card. Here I started to pull out a couple different elements from different things. I have this Catherine Pooler stencil here, which is so cool. Also, I have a costume change. If you notice now, I'm wearing a red shirt. This was done over a couple days. And I am using these two Distress Oxide colors here so that I can get this really cute pinwheel look. So I get that where I like it, really dark in the center and lighter in the front. But that doesn't really matter, and I'll show you why in a second. Also, watch what I'm doing here because I'm going to tell you something. Also, I spray this down and then I pick it up with some watercolor paper. And that you all know that I have issues just wasting ink. And so I have all these panels laying around and I haven't used them. So there we go. So that's going to be the bonus card at the very end. I'm going to cut this out with a circle because I'm going to make it look like a peppermint candy. So there we have a peppermint candy. But it was not bright enough. So what I decided to do was, in a minute, I'm going to put the stencil back on and then I'm going to put some red glitter embossing powder over it. And that's going to make it really shiny. But here you can watch me do the background. So I want to tell you, in the making of this film, magnets were injured. Okay? I accidentally, and it's going to make my blooper reel, so you'll see it when the blooper reel comes out, but I accidentally let them get too close and they snap together, and it's those two long, really strong magnets. And as soon as they snap together, crack. Both of them, the ends just cracked right off. That is seriously, it was like a projectile weapon. Awful. I was like, I got really scared. So then I'm trying to pick these two magnets apart, which was virtually impossible to do. I had to get my Cricut, what is it called? Spatula, and dig in between them and pull them apart with brute strength. So please be careful with your magnets. Those really long ones are so strong. So that's my public service announcement for you today. Now back to the card. As you saw me do, I got it all heat set and ready to go, and then my sentiment is going to go in the center of this card. So here is where I'm pulling back out the pinwheel, and I'm going to line it up, and then I am going to add Versamark ink over the top of it. And the Versamark ink, so this is why I do love my magnetic mat though, because I can just very quickly plop it down. And this is a magnetic mat from We Are Memory Keepers, if you haven't seen it before. And it's a backside of it that I altered with some contact paper and then on the right-hand side, some vinyl. I did a video on that if you want to go check that out. But it's still magnetic, and I love it for that. So here's where I'm pulling out my red glittery embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that. And when I did this, it made me sad that I didn't do the images in the background too, like that, because I really love the depth and color that I got from that. So I'm cutting down some more fun foam to put on the back because I want my little peppermint to pop up. On the back of the card, you can see that filled in with some stamps. Those are candy canes and then the candies. And those, again, were all in the kit. And so really, that's why I did a peppermint on the front, because I really liked how that kind of all came together. It's a very simple card, actually. It's not too much glitz and glamour going on. So then I'm going to finish up that card and again put that on my base. Nuvo glue is used throughout as well as my liquid adhesive. And there are some close-ups of this card. So again, really excited about the way that peppermint came out. It's very shiny and it's cute. All right, moving on to the next card. This one I have cut out a heart from some masking paper, and I am going to mask out my cardstock here. And I believe I'm using Neenah 80 pound for this one. And I am going to do some stamping on the inside of that to fill up my heart with all of those beautiful little stamps that we have in the set. So I'm going at warp speed here, but I am using some Catherine Puller inks. This is the Party Collection, Life of the Party. I pretty much use, I think I left out the yellow, but I pull in the green, what's it called? Lime Ricky, I believe. I pull that one in at the very end. And these images, we have presents and mittens, stars, and socks or stockings, and then an ornament that I throw in there as well. And these colors, they really do go nicely. Now, what's great about the silver here with the snowflake, I'm using 2 different snowflakes, is you can just pile those snowflakes all over, even over the colored images. And it really fills it up and makes it just finished. It gives it a very finished look. So I'm going to pull that off, and here I reveal my perfect heart. I'm going to cut that down, as I always do. And then I am going to finish up my card here. I'm obviously struggling with my purple tape. All right, so we get that cut down, and now I am pulling out my mono eraser. Now, I have used my mono eraser quite frequently lately, and it means I'm either rushing or I'm sloppy or I don't know what, but it is coming in handy quite frequently, and I'm very grateful for it. So this die right here is from Concord and Ninth. I had a very hard time finding it last time, so I'll look again, but any die that you have and you want to add to this, I pop that up on some fun foam, and then I am going to use the backing here. See how I pulled that off? Now this is Lawn Fawn glitter cardstock, which is the most glittery cardstock I think I've ever seen. It's awesome. It really is. I think Concord and Ninth cuts better, but this does just fine if you do it twice, like once over, and twice over. But it's so sparkly. It's so pretty. So I used that a couple times throughout here in different colors. And there's a close-up of that one. So again, that is a Concord and Ninth Mary set. Mary die. And that will do it for that one. All right, so using that, now the positive heart, I started in a landscape, and then I started in a portrait, and then I realized I wanted it in a landscape mode. So I switch it up. And I take out 2 of the oxide colors here, Lucky Clover, I believe, and Twisted Citron. And I am going to do an ombre look-ish. There's no third color. It's not really gradient. It kind of jumps from one to the other. But I love those 2 colors together. I don't know why I thought this was appropriate for Christmas. Well, green, so I guess so. But now I'm going to fill in with the stamps that pop out of that background stamp, the ornaments, and I'm just going to use some silver and fill that in. I thought that was going to add a soft but nice addition to the inside of the heart. Okay, and you can see how these pop right back into the background stamp right there. So very fun, very easy. I'm going to use my T-square ruler here, and I'm going to line it up so I can take my scrapbook.com silver pen again, silver marker, and I am going to just make them look like they are hanging ornaments. And I think it's a really cool illusion that it's inside the heart, hanging from the inside, so I just really like the way that came out. So I'm going to use another one of those Mary dies and place this on top of it. And I'm going to add, I add some Nuvo drops to this one. I have Nuvo drops that match the Twisted Citron and the Lucky Clover almost exactly. I don't know how I pulled that one off. That was luck of the draw. But so I'm just going to add some of those Nuvo drops to it. just for a little bit of funness. And there's a little close-up of that card. Yes, I think, well, I'll save that for the end. I was going to tell you which one was my favorite card. Well, I just told you. It was that one. I can't keep a secret from you guys. All right, so next card I am going to cover in snowflakes and heat set with silver embossing powder. And we are going to have a little bit of fun here with this one. Now, I have to tell you, these last couple cards, this is the trust tree. I can be honest here on this channel. I struggled a little bit with the last few cards. I think I was tired probably and my mojo was running out, but I actually ended up liking them some of the best. So yeah, very strange. So here I took the, okay, let me tell you why I did this. So I stamped it in silver and then I heat set it in white embossing powder. I did that so I could see what I was doing when I stamped it down. And since that color box silver is pigmented, it stays wet and I'm able to put the white embossing powder over it. So that's a trick for you. Stamp in silver pigment ink or any pigment ink and then cover it in white and it works out. And silver is not too far from white. So, all right, so I stamped out the word warm, warm, warm and then the sentiment warm hugs. And then I put some Distress Oxide over it. I took some more of that Lawn Fawn glitter cardstock and I'm taking the die from last month's kit for Hero Arts and I cut out the tree. I'm going to place this up in the corner and then I'm going to get my tree popped up on some fun foam right in the center of it. And then I am going to create my own cardstock with the Blueprint Sketch Distress Oxides. And that way I could see it would match perfectly with my little circle on the front. Placing that down with some liquid adhesive. I really love the way this card came out. And it was so easy to do. Very, very simple to do. And like I said, I pulled that from last month's card kit. So I think that a mashup is in order. Desperately a mashup. I have so many of these Hero Arts card kits. I need to be playing with them more and mixing them together. And then this one right here, we're moving on to the next card. I took out the little wine glass because why not? It's so cute. And I stamped that up the front. Literally at this point, I had no idea what I was going to do with this card. Zero idea. So I take a Lawn Fawn Hillside, look at, I'm like, can I use this? Can I use that? I take a Lawn Fawn Hillside border die and I just cut alongside it and then a rectangle stitch die. And then I'm going to cover the edges in some Versamark ink and dip it in the gold embossing powder and then heat set that. This will give me a nice shiny little edge around this piece that I have no idea what I'm going to do with. Okay, now I know. So I am stamping out the word B because I'm going to use another Mary die. And I'm taking the holly leaves and I'm stamping those out in green. So the bad thing about a solid image is the whole thing is green. So how am I going to make the berries red on my holly leaves? Well, I'm going to use Nouveau drops for that. And then I'm going to put the mistletoe sentiment right above the B. So it's going to say, Kisses, Be Merry. And it should be like a little ampersand somewhere after that, like Kisses and Be Merry. But I just really like that mistletoe over the Be Merry. It was cute. So then I'm going to take some Lawn Fawn red glitter cardstock. Look at this cardstock. I'm not kidding you. This computer or the monitor does not do it justice. It is so glittery. Now, how can one thing be more glittery than the next? Well, I don't know. They put some magic sparkle in there because when it hits the light, it's like, whew. That's an actual thing. That sound effect. Okay, so then I'm going to take this ruby red slippers, maybe? And this is Nouveau glitter drops, and I'm going to cover all the holly berries. And when you put it down, it doesn't look very solid. It looks kind of see-through. But then in the end, like here, it looks really dark, but it's actually a little bit more red than what you're seeing. But with the green underneath, I mean, it's kind of hard not to be a little bit darker. All right, bonus card. Literally slapping things together here. This is what I'm doing as to not waste the stuff I made. I had a tree laying around. I had this card panel laying around that you saw. And then I pulled out the stamp set. There was a little horsey and a little angel in there. I said, why not? You're getting added to my bonus card. This is the very definition of a bonus card. Like hodgepodge, the sausage of my Hero Arts card kit. Just throw it together. Okay, and there's the bonus card. Yay! All right, that will do it for these cards for this My Monthly Hero card kit November 2018. Here are my cards again. One quick look. And I will put all the still photos over on my blog, so you can head over there if you want to see some close-ups, because we kind of went through this pretty quickly when I was showing you the pictures. I will link everything that I used below. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss anything from me. And let me know which one is your favorite card in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Adia's favorite card was the blue tree. No, the blue card with the silver tree. That's the one she loved the most. Why? Because of that glitter cardstock. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.